Well, hello, good people. As promised, today we're going to take a look at Flux Redux. What is it for? How do we use it? Let's dive right into it. As always, everything you need will be linked in the description below. Once you click on the link, you're going to be directed to this page. You see, where out of the box, you can get variations, kind of like image to image, but you can also do things like style transfer, and you can even combine multiple images. Now, the first thing you need is the actual file. So click on Files, and then you want to download this one called Flux Redux Dev Safe Tensors. It's only 129 megabytes. And you want to make sure that you download it into your Style Models folder under your main Comfy UI folder. So on my system, the address path looks something like this. And then the next file you need is this SIG clip vision file. And you want to put it in your clip vision folder. Once again, here's an example on my system, Comfy UI Models Clip Vision. And then lastly, just right click here, save image as, and save this image in a location where you can find it again. Drag and drop that file into Comfy UI. Make sure Comfy UI is updated, and then you're going to get a workflow that looks like this. Now, in terms of the workflow, it's pretty basic. It shouldn't be anything different from what you've seen. So I'm not going to go over those things, but what's different about this workflow is the Redux model part, obviously. So first off, we have the load clip vision node. This is where you're going to select the SIG clip vision file. Then we have the load style model. This is where you're actually going to select the Redux model. And you see load clip vision connects to clip vision in code. And then the load image node connects to this as well into the apply style model node. The Redux model is connected to this as well. Let me bring these up. The apply style model node connects to Flux guidance and also your basic guider under conditioning. So I've gone ahead and loaded this image and generated 4 images. And out of the box, the way Redux works is that it just creates variations of that reference image. The problem with this workflow is that there's no way to make adjustments or influence the image in any other way. Now, there are numerous ways where we can approach this, but one of the things we can do is add a node that specifies weight. Now go ahead and double click and type in average. And select this one, conditioning average. And if we look closer to it, it says conditioning to strength. Now you can also use, if you type in strength, you can also use this one, conditioning set area strength. I find this one works just as good, but I'm going to save this one for the next workflow I'm going to show you. So for now, we're going to use this one, okay? Next, we're going to add 2 other nodes. Go ahead and type in range, and this one should pop up. Conditioning set TimeStepRange. We're also going to duplicate this, so make sure it's highlighted. Press Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V to duplicate it. And what we're going to do is mimic other platforms like Focus, for example, where this will represent our weight, and these 2 nodes will represent start and end times of where we want the generation to happen. So the first thing we want to do is take this conditioning node and connect it to the conditioning average node. And then I'm going to bring up the Flux guidance over here, and we're going to connect the from to Flux guidance. And then we're going to double click here, and we're just going to put in brackets style, and this will line up with the style reference. And then we're going to connect this conditioning node to here. Then for this node, we're going to bring it under. You can always rearrange it later. And we're going to put in brackets prompt. And no, this shouldn't be connected. We're going to remove that. And we're going to install one more node here. So double click and type in combine. This node is called conditioning combine. Then we want to connect both of these nodes here. So this one goes to 1, this one goes to 2. So for this one with the prompt heading, we want to connect it to Flux guidance over here. And then I'm going to pull this over just for you guys to see it. So now we want to connect this conditioning node to the basic guider. Now go ahead and rearrange it the way you like. I'm going to load my own workflow that's based off this. In the first example, I'm going to show you how the prompt works with the style. So I'm going to pick a value that's really low. So we're going to end the style at 0.07. And then anything you end with on the style node, you want to input that in the start of the prompt node, okay? And then we're going to end at 1. And the prompt I'm using is Cyberpunk concept car in a cyberpunk city. And if I were to generate that just on its own, you're going to get something that looks like this, kind of Batmobile-esque. Kind of cool. So keep that in mind. And this is the reference photo that I'll be using. I'm going to go ahead and click Q to generate it. So we see here with this example, other than the composition, the environment, it does adopt the original reference photo, maybe a little bit of the style of the car, but you see how with this particular setting, the prompt influence is greater. Now you might be thinking, why don't you just increase the strength? Well, that's not really how this workflow works. Instead, what we can do here is for the end step, we're going to put it pretty high. Let's exaggerate it and put 0.5. And then here, we're going to put start at 0.5 and end at 1. What you're going to see is a greater influence of this reference image in terms of the style and texture of the image, the environment. Now with this setting, we see more of the actual style transfer. The car looks very different because that's what we wanted. But in terms of the bronze texture, the composition, it's very similar to our reference photo. Now in terms of the prompt, it does still come through in terms of the style of the car here, but it is heavily influenced by the reference photo. Now the next method we're going to use is utilizing two images to produce images like this, where I've combined two reference photos. A very similar method to what we previously looked at. Instead, we're using a node called ConditioningSetAreaStrength. The main difference with the workflow is that you're doubling these nodes. And you see here I have 60% on this image and 40% on this image, which produce this image that we see here. And the way this works is very simple. The sum of both of these nodes should equal to 1. So if I wanted a greater influence on this image here, I would just have to increase this to 0.7, 0.6, or whatever the case may be, and make the adjustment to the first image. Now, if we wanted to use multiple images to reference the final image and use a prompt, there's actually a better node package that we can utilize. Big shout out to Kai Bioinfo who created this node package. And I only found out about this because I seen Olivio's video pop up. Mr. Kratos, God of War himself. I'm sure you guys have seen that video. This node package makes it a lot simpler to do everything that we just talked about. So we're going to go ahead and click on the code button here. Click on copy URL to clipboard. You want to navigate to your custom nodes folder. It should be under your main Comfy UI folder, custom nodes. Highlight the address bar, type in CMD, type in git clone, space, and paste in that link. Hit enter, and it's going to install. So we're going to go ahead and load the original workflow, the simple one. So now we want to double click on the workspace here and type in style. You're going to see two nodes here, StyleModelApplySimple. Click on that one. And I want to show you the advanced one as well. Now this one is a lot more simpler. You have options for highest, high, medium, low, and lowest. Whereas with the advanced one, you have more control. So you can select a number in terms of weighting the style. There's a mode area here, merge strength, and also clip weight. For now, we're just going to use the simple one. And basically what this does, it replaces this apply style node. So we're going to go ahead and let me change the noodles here. And by the way, if you want to hide your noodles after, you can just click on the eye here. You can just toggle that on and off and they disappear. I do like to still see the straight ones sometimes, but anyway, so let's first connect these here. Whenever I'm trying something new, I like to keep the original there just to line them up. So first, let's take the conditioning node, put it in the basic guider, and you see it'll disconnect the previous one. And we want to take the conditioning node from here. We can go ahead and disconnect that one. Style model to style model, and then clip vision to clip vision. Of course, we can just delete that one now. I'm going to leave this at a medium strength for now. Now what this does is now you can incorporate your prompt to have more of an effect. So let's load up an image here. I'm going to use the same colorful clouds here. We'll put a woman riding a flying fish in the sky. So I ended up doing 2 generations. This was on medium, this was on low. At medium, the influence of the reference image is still very strong. You can barely see the fish popping out here, but in the low setting, you see more of the fish coming out of the clouds here. So much more easier to do than the methods that I showed you earlier. However, with those previous methods, you get more fine controls. Now, with that being said, we can probably try the advanced one. I'll just do one more quick example here. Let's connect conditioning, style to style, clip vision here. Let's get rid of that. And then we're going to connect this to conditioning. Now down sample factor, I think 3 should be okay. We'll leave it at 3. We'll leave the mode to area, merge strength. Maybe what I'll do is do a couple different ones. We'll put that at 5, and clip weight we'll put, let's put this at 0.7 because I do want more of the prompt to play a factor. So we'll generate this one. And then I'm going to do this one at 1 and the clip weight at 0.5. Let's see how these turn out. So I ended up doing 3 examples. The first setting that we used, it showed too much of the prompt and practically nothing of the reference image. The second example, we see a similar result that we got from using the simple node. And then the third one here, we do have more of a prompt heavy image, but the reference image does come through a little bit here, which looks pretty cool other than the weird position she's on the fish. But hey, you get my point. I'll be honest, I had a lot of fun testing this out, and it's great to have so many ways to approach this. I'd imagine using this Redux adapter will fit into your own personal workflows. But next we're going to take a look at the new canny and depth control nets that were just released. For now, if you haven't checked out the in and out painting video I did just the other day, make sure to click on it right here. Till the next one, I'll see you when I see you.